Worm juice is very good for the plants. They love it. It's very high in vitamins and minerals and very good fertiliser. Most of the fruit trees will thrive on it. This is just coming out of my worm farm at the moment. This is a small commercial worm farm. There's a tap on the bottom to catch or to allow the worm juice to be opened and closed and allow it to come out, so you can put it in a bucket and feed it to your plants. Sort of 3 layers, as you can see there. The bottom one's for the liquid, middle one's for the castings to drop into, and the top one's for the food. When you take the lid off, you can see that where the handles are is an open space, but on the lid there is a grate. That's to keep out a lot of flies and wasps, to try and keep a lot of other bugs out of the worm farm. It also has some other holes to let a bit of air in, so it doesn't turn into a anaerobic mess. I like to put a hessian bag in the top and keep this moist as much as possible, that it just allows a lot more moisture to stay in the top section of the worm farm where the worms are supposedly living and eating. When you take the top layer off, I have recently cleaned this out, so I have transferred a lot of the stuff that was in the top into the bottom layer. So that's the top layer that's now fairly dry or semi-dry and waiting for the worms to get into, and this is the leftovers after I dug it out. Now, if you have a look, you can actually see worms and slaters and a few other bugs, and they're all decomposting what's in there. Unfortunately, it's been a bit cold, so I don't have a lot of worms in there. So as it warms up, they will multiply and chew a lot more of this worm farm. If you can see, there are quite a few baby worms in there starting to move around. See here, I do have some liquid in the bottom. This is mostly from the rain, which, if you scoop it up, you can see the nice colour. A little bit thin, but it'll do very well on the plants because they just love the old juice. And that's the middle tray on the side. So the commercial worm farms are very simple, very easy. You may have to do a little bit of maintenance on them over time because quite often the legs start to fail, but very easy to maintain, and it gives you a good product. It does provide quite a good amount of juice that can be used on your garden. I will put this back into the worm farm just to keep everything moist and wait for the next rainstorm to give me a bit more juice overall. For a non-commercial worm farm, all I've used here is a bath, as you can see. Put the tap on the outlet side to catch the juice, which then provides more juice, and the juice is very good for all plants, or except maybe Australian natives. So all the vegetables and fruit trees love it. This bent bit of wire is my worm stirrer. You screw it into the massive organic material in the worm tub, pull it up so that it breaks it open so that the mass doesn't turn anaerobic. If it does, it will kill all the bugs inside, because anaerobic just means it's rotting down and producing methane gas. If you keep the air into it and keep it stirred, the worms and bugs do their thing quite happily. If you wanted to turn your bathtub into a gas generator, then you want it as a anaerobic digester. I deep ripped the ground here and then put worm hit, which is worm casting pellets, onto the deep rip, and then I just allowed the rain to wash it into the ground, which seems to have improved the soil in those slits quite well. I'm just now waiting to see if the plant matter grows better along this cut or on the untested section. As you can see here, this is the worm pellets that I poured on top of the ground, and it is starting to break down. But the interesting thing here is that the plants growing out of it seem to be a little longer and a little greener than that stuff. So it certainly is having a difference to the ground and for the plants.